you're gonna see, it's nice for me to see familiar faces. I think you're all gonna notice. Is that Angie Bemis? Hello, Angie. Waving to the computer. Can you believe it? Yes, I'm sure you can. But there's one familiar face that you're not gonna see today because our beloved Robin is stuck in Miami. She's been there since yesterday morning, because of weather. So we have Rhett standing in for her, our eloquent Rhett, and also Christina Finch will be with us for a while. And we're really excited because we have three other guests, our friends from Interlochen. I'm actually up here. I'm really excited to be up here as a teaching fellow for the intermediate Harp group. We'll be talking a little bit about Interlochen. But I'm here for the next 3 weeks, and Rhett's going to tell you a little bit about Interlochen.
Well, for those of you who aren't familiar with Interlochen, for a lot of musicians, it's sort of a household word. It's sort of the place you go for summer if you're a serious musician. And it's one of the most prestigious, I guess you could say, arts institutions in the country, if not the whole world. People come from all over the world to Interlochen. And they have a residential program during the year, sort of like a musical boarding school, I guess, for kids in high school. And during the summer, from grades 4 through up through high school, and I believe they even have an adult program now. You can go during the summer and just immerse yourself in music, and they have other arts disciplines too. And I'm sure it's just an absolutely wonderful experience. It's just, if anybody says they've been to Interlochen, you're like, oh yeah, that's a great place. And Christina Finch, who's with us today, has actually been to Interlochen. So as a famous alumni or alumna, she can shed more light on it. Christina?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Rhett. So my time at Interlochen, I won't tell you the years that I went because I will age myself, but I had the privilege of going twice when I was in high school, once to the intermediate program and once to the high school program. And I can remember the high school program, especially the summer that I went that year was the summer that I decided I wanted to pursue harp as my career. It is a life-changing place to be around other young musicians who are so passionate and talented. And so many of us, when we're young, don't get a lot of opportunity to play high-level orchestral works I didn't even have an orchestral program in my high school. So I didn't have a lot of orchestral opportunity until I got to go to Interlochen. It was a life-changing experience. Absolutely wonderful summers there. And I got to study with the incredible Lynn Aspness. 2 summers with her, could not wish for more. It was really incredible.
Well, we have our very own, actually local for Richmond, Anastasia Jellison is teaching the high school program. I would like my my new Interlochen friends, I'm just here for the last 3 weeks, to just introduce themselves and just tell you a little bit about themselves. They're from all sorts of walks of life here at Interlochen. So
I'm Aiden Hunt. I'm the harp TA here this year. It's my first year here, and it's been great so far. I've been playing pedal harp for 2.5 years, and I was lucky enough to get this spot.
And he is my go-to guy. Poor Aiden. By the end of this summer, he's going to be ready for me to go. He is who I'm supposed to turn to with questions, but I think he wasn't expecting quite so much questions. And then I am really thrilled because the next person you're going to meet is a student I will be teaching this summer. I've had 1 day with her and I'm already excited for the rest of the time.
Hi, I'm Erica. I'll be going into high school. I've been playing harp for about 4.5 years, but this is my first time coming to Interlochen.
So, and she's really getting, Christina, you'll appreciate the immersion experience because technically this was the week she wasn't supposed to have the orchestra. So we were kind of casually looking at her repertoire. And then all of a sudden yesterday, we found out we have an orchestra rehearsal tomorrow. So today has been
surprise.
Orchestral triage. We've been doing orchestral triage. So. And last but not least.
Hello, my name is Carson Barnes. I came here in 2022 for camp, and then I went to academy for my senior year. And I'm here this summer working on stage services. So I move a bunch of stuff around all day.
All day.
Yeah.
And so I don't know whether you caught that, but Carson did the summer program and they have a year-round program, where you really immerse yourself.
Mm.
And a lot of people, you don't have to come all 4 years. I had a student who came the last 2, and you went your last one. So if teachers out there, if you're looking for a step for your student, I mean, this is the perfect place. It's the faculty is amazing. Not just the faculty, I'm just walking around the campus. I heard a French horn player today. I was sure it had to be the teacher. I look in the room, it's this little kid playing the French horn. So an amazing amount of talent. I have to say one thing that I actually appreciate about it, at least today, was normally before hanging with the harp, I'm upstairs trying to figure out what to wear, because as we all know, Robin always looks perfect. So I always try to do something. As you can see, everybody copies me, whatever I wear. No, we actually have uniforms up here, which is, I don't know, for somebody my age, kind of a relief. So Monday through Saturdays, we have light blue, and you can't see our bottoms, but navy blue pants. And then on Sunday, it's white. And then Monday's a really, really extravagant day. We get to pick blue or white. But we have just a pretty plain trivia question today. I don't have my mug here, but those of you who know, the trivia winner gets a mug and a Hangin with the Harp bag. And Erica came up with the question. I'm going to have her ask the question.
What year was the Interlochen Summer Arts Program founded?
Is that just the summer? That might be the whole thing, right?
I think it was just summer.
Oh, okay. I'm not getting the mug today, so I'm sure. So, oh, there it is. Thank you, Pam. Pam showing us. Hey, Peter. Sorry, I always talk to people as if they're there. So today is the second part, as you know. Oh, and if you know the answer, put it in the chat, and the first person to get it right will get their bag and their mug. Is part 2 with Liza Jensen. Seriously, we had so much positive response to her first session, and we have some questions already. You may have some questions to ask. If she has answered them already, Katie has sent out a link, and we can certainly get that to you with the chat from the first Hang with the Harp she did in June, and has highlighted the questions. So if you ask a question, we're not necessarily ignoring you. It may be one that she had the last time. So I'm going to pass it over. As I said, we have a bunch of questions. You can put them in the chat. We'll answer as many as we can, but she is here to tell us all about the care and feeding of our harps. So take it away, Liza.
Hi. So, yeah, this is a continuation of last time, and I'm going to be doing this again at Somerset. So, you know, if you missed something this time, there will be more coming very shortly. So, I don't even remember what we covered last time. So I do have a list here. Does Liza have an upcoming regulation schedule to share? Sort of. I'm getting together. I don't know if you guys know Emily Hopkins. She's on Instagram with all her pedal effects and crazy sounds, and she helps me build my website. And since I'll be seeing her at Somerset, I'm gonna rope her in so that she can show me how, because I forgot how to work my website. While I am a technician, I am not computerly technician inclined. Anyway, so I do have sort of a schedule. What should I do? What? I'm not sure about this. What should I do, and what should I leave to the tech? Oh, what can I do myself, and what should I leave to the tech? I mean, that's kind of tricky because it depends on your own comfortability levels. And are you comfortable? How comfortable are you with tools in general? I will tell you this, as I can never iterate enough to prep your harp for a tech. Do you guys remember what's the number one thing that's in your power that makes your harp regulate its best? It's kind of hard on Zoom because I can't see your hands raised. So I'm hoping that I'm hearing a resounding fresh strings, fresh strings. Can you all hear me? Yes. Oh, okay.
Somebody did answer that. Somebody did put in the chat right away.
Oh,
So I
sweet.
paid attention the first time.
Excellent. So, and when I say fresh strings, I don't even mean like they have to be 2 weeks in advance. I'm not that much of a snob. You know, they just don't need to be 3 years old. Ideally, 1 year old is really great. So the other thing too is please don't change your strings 3 days before the tech comes. Because as you know, just changing one string, how long does that one string take you before it starts to settle? It's more than 3 days. And if you're doing a whole harp, you're looking at a good week. Now I've done 4 days, but I'm not a happy girl. So if you can do the 2-week mark is a nice way to do it. And I will give you another helpful hint. If you're a pedal harpist, and you need to change your strings and they need to stretch out quickly, this is very anti-intuitive and against everything we've ever been taught. But you can put your pedals in the sharp position when you're not playing. I just saw MJ's face go, "Ugh."
All I said was I didn't know this, but it may have been a reaction that I had no control over.
Oh, that was great. But that's what we've been taught. Like, don't leave your pedals in the sharp position. It puts too much pressure on the strings, they'll break early. But if you want to stretch them out quickly, you are adding more pressure to the strings. And you're not doing it forever. You're doing it for like a week. And then those strings are going to stretch out so much faster and settle. So if you're doing your whole heart all at once, 1, bravo, brava. And 2, you're brave. 3, good luck practicing. 4, leave those pedals in sharp and you'll be able to practice sooner, sooner in tune. So that's one of the main things that you can do to prep your harp. And then what should you leave to the tech? Well, let's say, oh, also, sorry, to back up. And then lever harpists can leave all their levers up. So it's the equivalent of putting them all in sharp. So leaving your levers up will help stretch your strings also. Okay. So then what do you leave to the tech? Leave to the tech all the things you're uncomfortable doing, which for most people is everything. You know, if you're not comfortable changing bass wires, that's not a problem. We can do bass wires the same day as the regulation because bass wires don't stretch like gut strings and nylon strings, and especially fluorocarbon strings. There's some strings, it's the German fluorocarbon strings where like you have to put it on, then you have to undo it, pull it back through again, retune it. Those take forever. So anyway, if you have a buzz and you're playing the pedal harp, one thing you can do to help your tech is to write down if there's a specific pedal configuration that the harp is buzzing in, the specific note, and not just G string. Is it G flat? Is it G natural? Is it G sharp? And is it fourth octave, third octave? Are you not sure? Is it a specific chord? Like you play this chord and you hear something. Is it loud? Is it like a little mosquito buzz? You know, I get harps brought to me and then people don't say anything and I'll say, you know, well, I found the X, Y, and Z buzzes. They're like, oh yeah, I forgot about those. Well, what if they didn't do it? What if they didn't buzz when I was there, which often happens also. And then you think it's my fault. I didn't fix it, but you didn't tell me to listen for it. You know, they're very inconsistent depending on the weather. On a dry day, maybe it doesn't buzz. It only buzzes when it's raining out. You know, these harps are very, very fussy. They can be very fussy. Some are more fussy than others. Some are prima donnas. Some are just workhorses. So if you can write down how that buzz is occurring and, you know, train your ear, be curious, see if you can figure out where it is coming from. Can you follow? Does it get louder when you move your head towards the soundboard? Does it get louder when you move your head behind, you know, the body? Does it get louder when you move towards the column of the harp? I'm pointing to harps like they're in the perfect position and they're just not. Does it sound like it's coming from the mechanism? So follow your ear. Also, is it a picture frame in your room? I have a light fixture, that one right there, that loves B flat. Third octave, B flat. Not A sharp, only B flat. And that's another thing. A sharp doesn't carry the same waves that a B flat does. You know, when you play it, I mean, the tone is the same. I don't know, the tone is not the right word. What's pitch? The pitch is the same. The actual tone, we know that our harps sound biggest when they're all in flats. Debussy knew that. There's an orchestra piece that I think is in, like, for the violins, it's mostly sharps, but he wrote enharmonically flats for the harp because he knows that the harp resonates to its fullest in flats. So anyway, that was a tangent.
So Liza, tell us, is there anything we can do if one of our discs is buzzing? Is there anything we can do at home if we're having a disc buzz?
It can be. So you have to look at it. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can find a double disc down here. Usually I have discs. Oh, here, yeah, just laying around. Okay, so there's a couple things. So if you play on a line and heat on a traditionally made harp, we'll say. And actually this is universal, any pedal harp. So let's say you have a disc. Hang on, I'm going to stand up here. Okay, you have a disc. You have a disc here, okay? So here it's in relatively flat. And then here's your string, okay? And then let's say you're buzzing and you look at your disc and you see, you know, there's not a lot of grip. So there's not a lot of bending of the string so that when you pluck, it's actually buzzing in here. This is an exaggeration. So then you will need to tighten your disc. You want to change the grip on your disc. So for traditionally made harps, Let's go. Yeah, I've got to move a couple things. Ugh. Gonna be hard to see. It's a little far away. But you'll need to get a screwdriver, get a flathead screwdriver. And let's see. Okay. So you have your screw in the center. You have your disc. In order to loosen the screw, let's see, how is this gripping anyway? Okay, so I'm gonna, so let's say, maybe you have kind of that kind of a buzz. Well, I can see there's no grip here. I don't know if you guys, if it's translating much. See if I can get that closer. Okay, so I'm here. There we go. So, you know, we want it to look more like that. Can you see the difference? Okay. So, if in order to adjust the disc, I'm going to put my screwdriver in between the two prongs. All right. And then I'm going to push counterclockwise. Okay. And that's going to loosen the disc. And I need to find my flathead screwdriver. Okay. Okay, so then, and see, I just leave the string on there. I use my fingers to push the string aside a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to adjust this about where I want it, where I think it's going to make more grip. And then the screw, to tighten the screw, I go righty-tighty, so clockwise. And also just do a little bit of a back between the discs, also kind of the same motion, clockwise motion to lock the disc. Okay. So that's for traditional harps. For Kamek harps, this is not the case. So, and the reason it's not the case is, there's my giant bowl. So if you look, where is it? There we go.
Get into Kamek, we had a question, is it the traditional lefty-loosey or righty-tighty? Are the discs all?
I will get there. I'm going to address that in a minute. Okay, so I don't know if you can see again. So this has threading inside. Okay, so they're threaded onto the harp. A spindle comes through, goes through the neck here, right here, and then this, you turn it onto the spindle. And so but to tighten it, it goes counterclockwise. So that's how you put a Lion and Healy disc, a Oyama disc, Venus disc, Salvi disc, Horngakar disc, everybody. Kamek is a smooth surface. Okay, there is no screws, there's nothing here. So how does it stay in, you ask? It's a miracle. So with Kameks, it's a lock system. Okay. All right. Okay. So in order usually to get a disc off, you just go straight to the screw. And the top row is normal. The top row is counterclockwise is loosening and clockwise is tightening, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Okay. So now I just loosen that screw. You can see I'm loosening it now, but look at this. I can still play the note with the screw loose. That's crazy. That's why these are so awesome. In order to unlock it, I take my tuning key and I'm going to tap the end of my screwdriver. And it'll make sometimes a dull cracking noise or a very loud crack. And it's a sharp crack. It's a very specific, it's not a thud, it's a very specific crack. So now my lever is loose. So then I can adjust it to exactly where I want. I don't have to lock it into position. The other discs, you have to guess a little bit more. Because after you tighten the screw, you still have to batten down the hatches, so to speak.
So Liza,
yeah.
We're gonna move on a little bit so we can get some of the general questions, because I'm sure some.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it's something you can just moving.
Right. And I'm going to give one other little helpful hint for disc buzzes, and that is it could be a back plate screw, and that's also easy to adjust. And the way to figure that out is if you buzz and you put your screwdriver and apply some pressure behind your disc and press, and the buzz goes away, that is usually a back plate screw buzz. Okay. Yes. Moving along.
We're saying what, but after watching that, it's like I'm definitely leaving that to the regulator. But that's just me. Carson has had experience. He's smiling. Maybe I'll get him to do it. But can you the next question?
Okay.
You got the question?
I was going to jump in here for just a second, speaking on behalf of the lever harp world.
Yeah.
This is great information on pedal harps, though. But there are a bunch of questions about lever harps, and I know a lot of our people watching are lever players. One of the most common things with lever harps is squeaky levers. And I know it's specific to the type of lever in the harp, but can you just give some kind of general reasons why a lever might squeak on a harp, and what is a kind of a quick fix if possible? Again, I know there are a lot of different types of levers, but just a kind of a general.
The main squeak that I usually hear is on Lion and Healy harps and with the performance levers. And the squeak is usually friction of engaging with the string. And all you have to do, so I carry a tiny little bottle with a little needle nose tip, and I literally put 1 dot of lubrication on. I'm going to show you the part, because there's 2 places here, right there on the side, that rubs on the string, but also this spot back here, this also rubs on the string because it bends this, that's what bends the string. And that immediately, so you could just take a Q-tip. You can just grab a Q-tip and get a little oil. I don't even care what kind of oil. It really doesn't matter. Vegetable oil, olive oil, motor oil, whatever. whatever's easy and on hand.
Okay. And sort of along the same lines, there are a lot of questions about things that squeak and buzz on the harp, which is one of our, common problems. This question is what to do about tuning pegs that are hard to turn.
So tuning pins are conical. And so the harder you drive it into the harp, the more, oops, sorry, I'm trying to close, there we go. The harder you put it into the harp, the harder it is to turn. And so before it gets locked into place and you end up breaking the end of your tuning pin, and then you're really in trouble. First, I know, again, scary stuff. Get a hammer and you're just gonna knock it gently out. Okay.
Liza, I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
With something that happened to me very early on in my playing. I was playing with a local little symphony and my tuning pin came off in my tuning key, like literally broke off. So and very early on, I started carrying 2 tuning keys. So that's just a heads up, a perfect time to mention. Sorry to interrupt.
Tuning keys or tuning pins?
No, I had another tuning key. I didn't know what to do about the pin. I was totally gobsmacked. But I couldn't tune the rest of my harp. So yeah.
Oh, you mean that did the end of your tuning pin get stuck in your tuning key?
Yes, that's why it's a kind of an odd thing.
Oh, now
something.
that's an interesting problem. And I think a common problem as well. Because, you're using the same tuning key for many, many years. And the edges, it's square. And if you have an older harp, the ends of those tuning pins have rounded. And so what happened to you is the square was too big for the roundedness of your tuning pin. And that's how it got lodged. And then that's how you broke it. So anyway,
and sort of the opposite question to the pins being too tight is, and we frequently get this, the harp center, if they're too loose, and this may be more common in lever harps. Of course, I know Dusty Strings have threaded tuning pins, but the other ones that are conical, it often happens that they're just loose, and it's really hard to tighten the bass wires. What would you generally lever harps, sometimes pedal harps, but what would you suggest for that?
So you can also come back to this, but you'll go the other way. So try giving a light tap, okay? And the way you tap it is like I did, loosening the disc on the Kamak. It's a quick, you don't want to go thud. That won't work. It has to be a quick, swift tap, and then test it. If that's enough, great. Sometimes there's especially in lever harps and very old harps, the wood just gets so hard. And so even doing this, like you've tuned it maybe 4 times and it's already loose again. So in that case, you may need to take your tuning pin out and you can rough it up a little bit with a file. I'm looking for a tuning pin, but I don't have one up here right now. But I think you understand what I'm saying. You can take a file and just make it a little bit rough so it's not too smooth. And sometimes I've tried using a little bit of chalk to just, I don't know, it kind of fills things in, gives it a little bit of grit. And that helps keep it from being too loose.
So
Yeah, I got really desperate one time and used a little bit of baby powder, and I thought, I hope I didn't just ruin my tuning pins, but it seemed to work.
No, it works. It works. Also, if you have tight tuning pins, use in a pinch, I just use a pencil, some pencil lead, and put like not too many swipes on it. And that is just enough so that it doesn't get binding up again.
So I just wanted to say there are many of us that do not like using the word hammer and harp in the same sentence. So just be, because I know you have to, but the first time I did it, I was petrified. But just the way Liza is telling you to do it is the way to go. I know one question, I actually don't have access to the list, but one that we are asked a lot at the Harp Center is a cosmetic question. Can I, as a harpist versus a technician or a furniture maker, fix the little dings on my harp? Is there a way to, you know, beautify my harp if it's dinged?
That's a really broad question because it depends what's the color of your harp, you know. What is your level of perfection is another question. If you own an ebony harp, I found, like, you know, in a pinch, I think we've all just used a Sharpie, you know. So there's that. There's also so Mohawk is a wonderful company that's a refinishing company, and they make really wonderful like pens, stain pens. So let's say you gouge your mahogany harp. Oh, but is it red mahogany? Is it a brown mahogany? I mean, you have all these, you know, different stains of just mahogany. Maybe you need a brown and a red, and you can kind of mix and match. So those are really great. If your harp is a natural finish, that's really trickier. Although not as noticeable, I will say that. If you ding your harp and it's white, that's the actual finish. And that's a whole different process. But if you're just trying to like beautify it by, you know, the mahogany is now natural wood. So these pens, again, the company is Mohawk. You can generally go to any store, any hardware store. I know I have a couple here. These are my two. These are called Rejuvenate. So, and they're just, I mean, they look like, literally, they just look like a marker, but they're stains for wood.
Liza, along the same lines, but how to tell if a crack on a harp is cosmetic or structural? And specifically, they were asking, like on the soundboard, what if you're looking for, or say a crack appears in your soundboard somewhere, and I know this is very general, but how can you tell, just basically by looking at it, a crack that is just caused by, say, humidity or weather or something like that, or is it a veneer crack, or is it an actual crack in the soundboard? How can you make
Right.
that? Yeah.
So there's a couple of things about that, and that's, you know, our biggest worry is like, oh my word, my soundboard just has a crack. Do I have to replace it? Is it okay? How long is it gonna last? So generally speaking, so all pedal harps have a veneer. And so if your crack runs up and down, that's just the veneer. That is not even the soundboard. And then if the crack goes across, that's the actual soundboard. Okay, so that's a general rule for pedal harps. Now, here's another thing though. The reason that there is a veneer on the soundboard is because you get cracks going across, because the soundboard is made of stacked pieces of wood. It's not one piece of wood, it's stacked. And so over time, those separate. and it still works just fine. You don't even need a new soundboard. It works just fine. The veneer is there to actually cover it up. So real cracks that you really need to look out for are cracks that are, if you look behind through the soundboard, and if you see cracks going up and down back there, that's going against the grain. That's very, very bad.
Would the same be true? Sometimes we'll see harps that along the string rib, it's starting to come, it looks like it's coming unglued or there's glue separation. Is that something to be worried
And
about?
on the outside,
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, on the outside, on the
I-
soundboard side.
I've actually repaired those. And what I do, because it looks like the center strip is
Yes, it's coming up.
well,
Mhm.
it doesn't look like it. It is. It's
Yeah.
separating from the soundboard. And so just to keep your soundboard going indefinitely longer, I take all the strings out. I put epoxy in there and I get a couple boards. It'll actually, that's what this harp is doing. I have an example. So let's see. Oops. So that's what this is doing right now. So this center strip was starting to pull up. And so I put some glue in there. And then I clamp 2 pieces of wood to press on it. And then that's going to put it all back in place. And then I'll put the strings back on and it'll be good to go. So it's not as dangerous. It's not as dangerous as it would seem. Yeah.
One thing I know a lot of people are maybe shopping for harps, and I hope they will be, and I hope they'll come to the Atlanta Harp Center to buy them. Hint, hint. Um, if you're looking for a used harp, or even a new one for that matter, nowadays you kind of have to be careful. But what do you look for as far as? And I know every harp is completely different. Like you can have a 10-year-old harp that's got major issues, then you can have a 75-year-old harp that's in great shape. But generally, if you're looking for a used harp, what are the main things you're looking for structurally that you as a, say, an amateur or professional player can easily identify as a non-technician? What would we look for?
Oh, 100%. And this is very important. So you want to look at the neck. So how crooked is the neck? Is it so crooked, like say you're playing on a lever harp, is it so crooked that every string buzzes when you're playing because they're all touching the lever? And will that be fixable? And in combination with the neck is the pillar. If you look straight ahead, is the column or the pillar, does it have a C curve to it? So you don't want to buy something that has a significant C curve to it, or you buy it and you're getting a really awesome deal. It has to be a really good deal. Very low. And then the other thing too is to look at the bottom, and is the pillar sinking past the bottom of the harp? And that happens with older harps too, which is fixable, but it does say something about the alignment in general of the harp. So, and that it's much shorter, like it's literally shorter because the column is actually sinking down past the bottom of the soundboard. Does that make sense? I hope. For pedal harps, you're going to look for, again, the neck. And a good way, I mean, a lot of times you just can see. It's like, oh, wow, it's so crooked. But another way to tell is specifically look at 4th octave F sharp. Look for the string within the pins if the string is barely engaging with the pins, then that harp is going to need a new neck pretty darn soon, or you'll not be able to play F sharp. So that's the neck. Then you want to look at the belly of the soundboard. And this applies to both. The belly of the soundboard, you're going to look for cracks. You're going to look for, you know, how bellied is it? How long has that belly been there? How much does it affect the regulation? Because there's a point that you can't regulate anymore. You just can't get the pitch any lower. And then back to pedal harp again. This is very commonly missed and just not known, but you need to look at your pedestal. The pedestal is what the whole harp sits on. It's where your pedal slots are. You're going to look above the D pedal. And I'm going to grab the computer again. I'm going to try to show you here. So the pedestal. So you're going to look at your bass frame. Oh man, I don't know if I can get the computer that low. Here we go. So what you're looking for is a gap right here. This harp is well over 100 years old, and there's no gap here, which is kind of amazing. I'm very jealous of the person who bought this harp. When the gap is big enough, so some gapping is normal, just like some warping of the neck, some bellying of the soundboard. The gap, if you can put a wooden eraser in the gap, do not buy that harp. It's very unstable and it needs immediately a new bass frame, which depending on where you send it, even the cheap place is $4,000.
So Liza, you touched on the soundboard. This is actually going to have to be our last question for the day, but I do want to tell everybody that Liza is available for consultations. You can, and Katie's going to put her information in the link, and you can get a Zoom consultation, or better yet, you can get Liza to come to your town sometime soon. But in the meantime, Carson was asking, in terms of the soundboard, I always think of it of how pregnant, like how bulging is safe. What is a safe sort of, is it 2 months? Is it 6 months? You know, just give us a general idea.
I mean, that's really hard because each harp, you know, it's like us, it's like people, like, you know, maybe the harp looks like it's about ready to have, you know, quadruplets. And I've seen a Venus harp that was 35 years old, a little cherub, and that thing had a belly on it so gigantic. It may be the biggest one, not a sign of cracking, not a sign, but that's a good harp for a beginner. You know, that's not going to be a harp for a professional for sure, because it's barely regulatable. You know, basically it's about buzz maintenance. And so that's the question really you have to ask yourself is, you have to know yourself what kind of harpist you are. Are you a professional? Are you just, do you need a cheap gig harp that you don't really care what happens to it? Well, then that's a great harp. Like, it's just for aesthetics and people are like, ooh, it's the harp in my wedding. It's so amazing. And you don't care if it gets 110 degrees.
We could probably do an entire hang on buying a used harp, don't you think, Rhett? I mean, there's just, yeah, there's so much.
There's
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
But yeah, it's fortunately time to sign off. I don't know, maybe we'll just have you for the rest of the year, Liza.
I can keep going.
Thank you. Comments, and you can rewatch this video. Those of you who actually think you want to try that disc stuff, Katie will post it. It will be on the Atlanta website. I want to say thank you again to Rhett for stepping in for Robin. I would say she'll be here next time, but believe it or not, we're both taking August off. We're going to be in the same What's that?
So am I.
Okay, you can come join us. And I want to thank my friends from Interlochen, those of you that missed the beginning. I'm at Interlochen with these wonderful, talented young harpists, Carson, Erica, and Aiden. And by the way, Rhett, Aiden also plays French horn. He also plays.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, well, stick to the harp. It's much easier. I shouldn't say that.
I
You're not
disagree.
wrong.
Before I give the answer to the trivia question, I wanted to mention, as I said, amazingly talented. You're going to hear their names again because this is just a short list of Interlochen graduates. Alyssa Katahara, who just got the Detroit job, Rebecca Howe, Jessica Zhao in Boston, Charles Overton, we've had him on before. We all love Charles, an amazing jazz/classical phenom. And Juan Riveras, who we had last year at the, I always, like they can see me, right? Anyway, they're used to it, who was at the conference last year. So the answer to when did the summer program start here, did anybody get it? I didn't check. It was 1928, and they will be celebrating, obviously, their 100th anniversary in 3 years. They will be touring. The high school year-round group will be touring in 3 cities. So look out for that. I think it's Detroit, Boston, and I'm forgetting the word. And Philadelphia, my hometown. So you're going to want to see that if they are coming to your town. These kids are just phenomenal. And on top of that, they're lovely. So I always say if I played like that at their age, I'd probably be snobby, but I aspire to play the way that they play now. But I want to thank you all so much for being here today. We love seeing your familiar faces. Robin will definitely be doing the rewatch, and you know she loves to do her romper room highs, so she'll be probably doing that hopefully from her home. Hopefully by the time we get done here, Robin will be home. And Rhett, your cat is there. Which cat is that?
That is Johann. Just stop and think for a minute. Johann.
You named after.
Oh, I don't know. There was somebody named Johann Bach at some point. I can't, maybe. We call him Baby Joe though, because you know, Johann is just too sophisticated for him, apparently.
Thanks again, everybody, so much. And as I said, hi, Aaron. We will be taking April off, and we'll look forward to seeing you September. Always look for suggestions. Get in touch with Atlanta Info at Atlanta Harp Center if there's a specific guest you'd like. And don't forget, you can rewatch all of these. Liza's first and Liza's second. You'll be ready to go out and just do it yourself, right, Liza?
Yes, I love it.
All right. Thanks. Bye, everybody.